Okay. Good day. It's Friday. We're back with Friday with Friends. I always think we have great guests, but today I think we have a fantastic guest. It's super interesting background, a lot of great information for us that I think she's bringing us something new today. And I think we're going to be quite happy to hear what she has to say. I know that I don't want to give it away, but she shared her gift with me and I have been loving it ever since. So let's get into talking to this is Lainie Sevante Wulkan. Tell me if I said that correct.
Perfectly. Yeah.
Get one A already. That's good.
Yeah. Woo! You got past the first hurdle.
That is it. So Lainie and I met through the Global Holistic Chamber of Commerce, which has been a very great and supportive group. They have chapters all across the country and across the world. Am I?
Yeah, it's, we just got into Europe and Canada and Mexico. It's growing. Yeah.
Okay, so this is a great opportunity. So if you are, for lack of a better word, a holistic business, or you're in this industry of helping and healing, this is a great organization. It was very supportive, lots of education. You've been good at even promoting us, which is necessary a responsibility, but we totally thank you for that. So, but that's not why we're here to talk today. We're here to talk about this. We have a food healing oracle deck, and Lainie and her partner Joanna created this oracle deck, and I want you to tell us about that. First, tell us a little about yourself, your background, and how you and Joanna came up with the food healing oracle deck.
Thank you. I call Joanna. We call each other partners in produce. That's
partners, and I like that
official term.
Pips.
I have a lot of things I've done in my life. I've been a media producer, worked a lot in Hollywood with a lot of top celebrities. I worked in the food realm. I actually worked for Michael Jackson's chef in the beginning of my career. And learned a lot, did a lot, catered a lot of parties. So I've always been a foodie. And I also went to school. I got a degree in food science, actually.
Wow.
A few years ago, and an advanced food healing instructor. Thank you. So I've been a foodie on all sorts of different realms, and that's the one side of me. I'm also a fourth generation intuitive. And so I come from a very intuitive psychic family. My great grandmother was like the town psychic in Russia, believe it or not. So it's passed down, I think, through each one of us have a pretty unique gift. And so my world as a healer, an energy reader, I don't remember, I'm thinking back since my 20s, it was a few days ago, a few decades ago.
That's right.
I always had a tarot card or an oracle card. We just thought it was fun at parties, like to do readings and things like that. So I've grown up in that realm. So it's funny because there's like this spiritual woo-woo, and then I'm kind of a hardcore businesswoman too. have run multiple businesses, media and production and all sorts of things. Currently, I have, over the last several years, my husband and I are in the music business. He's a longtime music producer. We have a recording studio here on an island in Florida. And I grew into running one of our record labels. And it's a spiritual record label called Intuitive Wisdom Records. And a couple years ago, I gathered, actually, a good majority of people actually came from the chamber, but we ended up creating several meditation albums. They were either meditation. Actually, I have to send you a few of those. Some meditation, spoken words, some very inspiring sounds. And our first album out the gate, there's now 5. They're called Gulf Coast Meditations. The first album, Awaken the Spirit went #1 on Amazon.
Wow.
Blew us away.
Wow.
Yeah, hot new releases. And if I was so prepared, I'd have it right next to me and go, phew. Oh, it's right. It's just like right there. Should I go get it or no?
Go get it. You can go get it. Yes.
All right, I'm gonna go get
Let's
it.
do it. Let's do it.
For CDs. This was our
Nice.
first album, Awaken the Spirit Within. And I'm on it. And I met Joanna, my partner in produce. She was on it as well. And then we did another album about the chakras. And she was on it as well. I was on it. And we were just kind of falling into this great friendship and groove. I really admired her work. I think she admired mine, and we became fast friends. So we were talking about all of our respective passions. So we already were doing readings, we were doing meditations, we were kind of mixing all sorts of ways to make an impact in the world. And then we started talking about our other passion, which was food. She comes from a long line of different things. She owned an organic produce store, and she's just done a million different things, grown up, raised her kids, organic farming. So to make a long story short, even though that was a little bit long, it was worth it because it just, this conversation, I was in the middle of getting this advanced food healing instructor certification. And we said, wow, wouldn't it be great to bridge spirit and science, all these things that we're about, into one world and do readings with our own deck? And we thought, oh my God, how amazing. And I said, I can't think about it till I finished this big exam. It was very difficult, 300 questions. It's notoriously known that 60% of the class fails. And it was just this intense thing. So I did really well on the test. And I called her up and I said, yeah, let's put all this food science knowledge, because 30 years ago when I had my degree and where food is now has evolved so much.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Like, I mean, it's astounding, especially in plant-based movements and whole foods and vegan and all that good stuff. So really we got to it and we just started writing, and it's amazing. In a year, the rest is history. That was in 2019,
Wow.
the end. Yeah. But, you know, people said, well, how'd you put it together so fast? But, you know, we both come from decades of wisdom. And so it's not like, oh, we just decided to do this. Yes, we decided to do it. But what ended up happening is that it just accessed the whole Rolodex, the whole toolbox of all of our wisdom collectively, and came together in this astounding, it was our first production called Food Healing Oracle Deck. And course, for those who are wondering, like, well, how do you pull something off that? It takes a few dollars. So we ended up doing a Kickstarter campaign because yeah. So we did that in last year in January, February, exactly when COVID was breaking into the world. Wow. Literally the same week, the end of February. And we were like, oh, how are we going to pull this off? Because we needed a lot of money to make this happen. It's an expensive endeavor.
No doubt.
Yeah. And then what ended up happening, our other sort of, we had a little snafu, most business people do. We had the impression that we were hiring somebody to run our campaign and manage it. You know, 30 days, we were already running multiple businesses. And they go, oh, no. You just paid us to build the campaign. Here you go. Now you got 30 days, you're on your own. We were like, oh, wow. Well, holy cow, it would have been X amount of dollars. And we were not in that position. We already knew what this cost. So I just had to put on my social media hat. And what ended up happening is that we would just, why don't we just show our cards? So like, for instance, we showed garlic, and garlic is our protection card. And everyone was looking how to be protected from this virus that was just, you know, starting. And then we pulled our immunity card, which was how people wanted to be protected with their immune system. And so so each day of this campaign, we just started pulling what our cards that we were given these messages of what these cards. There's 60 fruits, vegetables, herbs, and spices in the deck. And we ended up doing very well. We came in at 120% of our goal,
Wow.
and that gave us ample funding to get going. And there was a 3-month production in overseas, and then our decks arrived in July on my birthday. You couldn't even plan this stuff. Literally, like, happy birthday, your decks have arrived. Here they are in your hand.
That's right. You're in business. Let's go.
Yeah.
What was this intended to be, say, like family fun, like a tarot-like form of introspection and healing, culinary education, or like a belief system? You know, and because I could tell as you're talking about it, it wasn't something that you totally planned. It's just it's a conversation that seems like it got, you know, became bigger than itself, like a very free-flowing conversation between you two, and then next thing you know, you're here. So like, when you're talking, as ideas were flowing, what direction was this going in? Like the family? Was it the introspection and healing, culinary education, belief system?
You know, we maybe all of the above. Our goal was, or what we were given guidance, if you will. I don't know if you can hear peacocks. They're very loud right now outside my window. If everyone heard of a peacock sound, they're pretty loud. The direction in terms of where we were going is that we were given this directive, if you will, is to let people know that what we put into our body makes a difference. And it affects us. We call it EMPS wellness, which is emotional, mental, physical, and spiritual. And I think that so often people aren't seeing that food has a much bigger story. And so our direction was to allow people to know that. And so physically, knowing our background and our kind of business acumen, we did list, if you pull a card, soursop. People, first off, we were educating people on some exotics.
Yeah.
This is our miracles card. But then we started talking about the health benefits and disease prevention and what all these foods were doing. And then we also gave a message of like, what is this? If you're pulling this fruit, what does it mean? And actually, what is this picture telling you? And so we rolled out a whole certification program to give people a deeper message and become certified in using this deck. When they pull onions, for instance, acceptance. Why do we have onions stacked together? Why are there multiple colors? What is it? What's really happening in this picture? Because there's a lot going on. It's not just the word, and it's not just the word onion or the healing wisdom word. So
you didn't just find these pictures. You had these pictures taken, it seems like.
I curated them. Yeah, I curated finding. I mean, they're beautiful, aren't they? I mean, people say all the time. Yeah, well, the time factor to do, I mean, they're so amazing. They're in their own settings. So we got the right pictures. And so when you open up the book, I know you have the book, and then you can open up onions and see like, what is it telling you spiritually about acceptance? And then what is it telling you about onions, which are so healthy for you? I mean, they're really great in fighting cancer. So we give you a little bit of
bonus of that book, I believe.
What's that?
That is one of the biggest bonuses of this deck and of this little book, because I think a lot of people had questions about the food that we eat. We're not taught this stuff growing up, really. You kind of just like, oh, well, you like what you like and you figure out what it does for you on your own. Like no one ever teaches, you know, what these foods and how they benefit us. And you're really doing it. It's really appreciated.
Thank you. You know, my mom was a hippy dippy, awesome intuitive as well, and she used to say to me, I remember doing this article for Epic magazine, her motto, it always stuck with me, more than 3, leave it be. And in my mind, you mean if there's more than 3 ingredients, like keep it super clean.
Right.
And so this is about keeping it clean in terms of what you put into your body. And it's not in, we thought originally, oh, the spiritual people, the tarot readers, the intuitives, it was going to be this kind of market. And what we're finding now is that the market is like this, and anybody who wants to lose weight, disease prevention, diabetes, cancer, support groups, personal trainers, life coaches, health coaches, families. I mean, it's open, it's become, and it's a crossover. It's not just in this esoteric world, it's really mainstream now. So we can send it to anybody and say, you know, these are educational food flashcards. And what there really is, they're telling a story way bigger than food. You can ask any questions of these decks. Should I do this, make this business decision? Should I move? Should I break up with my person? You know, like there's a million, it can answer any questions. It's just the character now is food, but this isn't, people say to me all the time, well, is it just telling me what I should eat today and I'll pull a card? Yes, that is one way. Have you done that? Have you ever pulled a card and said like, what is my body craving? Because that you could do that. Or you can say like, is this the right decision? Should I go with that manufacturer or that manufacturer? And you can actually get the clarity, which is our blueberry card. And it's pretty amazing. People say all the time, spot on every time. We call it real-time wisdom. But you can get answers to just about anything. I mean, the universe is using this deck to answer what you need to have revealed for you. And food does that. You will never look at food the same way again, because you can't look at blueberry and go, wow, okay, I'm needing some clarity. I mean, it's just, we've started a movement to the fact where people just speak in our language with our deck. It's amazing. Like, yeah, I'm really going to just
Everybody speaks this language.
What's that?
Everybody speaks this language. Just maybe not fluently, but everybody speaks the language of food. It relates to a lot of people.
Well, now they're translating it to the words that are on the food. So, for instance, like I feel a lot of mango today, and people will write to us, and we know that means that they feel a lot of joy. Or, you know, I'm just going to stay in papaya about this, which is our flow card. And we teach you 8 different spreads. These are the configurations that you can lay things out depending on what you want to know. I mean, there is a make a meal spread. Like I'm going to pick 6 cards and I'm going to trust out of 60 cards that these 6 are what I'm supposed to have today. And I'm going to make a meal and I'm going to hold that intention. Or it could just be nutritionally. But a lot of times there's a lot more layers into why we're craving something. And
it's
so
funny,
either
the way I see it is that I pick my card and it's like you said, it's like sometimes like this inner need tells you to pick the card, and that card is communicating with that inner need. It's kind of cool in that way.
Over and over. I mean, it's not just once. It's really mystical, and it doesn't really have an explanation. Yeah, people's, you know, it is a form, I guess, of divination, which is a way. I mean, people read tea leaves, they use pendulums, they go to church. I mean, however you do what you do, and however you connect to your higher source, this is another avenue. But the message also is that Mother Nature is saying, you don't need all that other extra processed crap. Right. You literally need what we're providing to you. If you go outside and get that apple, or, you know, pull the carrot from the garden. And that is a sense of realizing that we need less in the world, not more. That's right. I think that's one of the underlying messages of keep it super simple. That's right. And the last year did that, right? We didn't need much.
It taught us all how much less we could actually endure, you know? Yeah. And that's a good lesson, I believe. You know, this, you know, sometimes I say this, people go, here it goes again, but I spent my life in most of my early career in hospitality. Food is a big part of who I am. It's a big part of who our family is. And, you know, when I first got it, I didn't know what to think. I was like, okay, you know, she sent me a gift, I opened it up. And then now like me and my wife are doing it. And it's fun. It's because it connects to a lot of things that people are interested in. Food, educating you about the food, your feelings, I would call it supernatural or esoteric, or the mystical, if you will. And people are interested in those things sometimes, especially in an age where we as a society are becoming less and less religious. People are looking for other ways to get those answers. And this is super, I mean, whether you're doing this for fun, whether you are, whether it becomes a belief system, I think this works for a lot of people in a lot of ways. And it's just a great way of, if nothing else, of learning about the things that you can or should be consuming.
I have clients that I do business strategy meetings with on a weekly basis, and we consult the cards. I mean,
Awesome.
big business decisions. I work with people from all over the world, and we look at the cards because sometimes you may already, a lot of this is a mirror. You already know really maybe on some level what's happening on the decision or the question you're coming with. And these cards are giving you that confirmation of you're on the right track, or maybe it's time to pivot, or hey, maybe you need a pause. Or, if you get pumpkin seeds, which is moderation, is like maybe not dive into it, but like pace yourself. And these
Right.
cards will give you that. And it's just set in this character of foods. Like you're going to look at pumpkin seeds, you're like, oh, I'm going to like, wait a minute before I dive into that, signing that contract. All the time we pull cards. I've had musicians just before they go on stage ask me to pull a card just so they can kind of get grounded into their vocals. I mean, it's just amazing what's happened. And now we're in about 20 countries. We've had about 50 people go through our certification program.
Excellent.
Yeah. So it's, and we came out with a smoothie book. So it just was the next reiteration of where this is going. And now Joanne and I are just getting ready to sit down and write the second deck, which is another 60 fruits, vegetables, herbs, and spices. And now we'll have 120 people will have to play with.
It's gonna be a really interesting Friday night for you. We'll be playing games and such. Yeah, I do it with my wife. It's such a good time.
Do you have kids?
I believe it or not, my son is 28 and he's giving me a granddaughter, so I have a grandchild also.
Oh, wow. Well, kids are loving this. So we have a mini deck, of course. It's mini compared to the,
yes.
look at that little baby.
Yes.
So so they come in here. They come in a little size. They come with a little velvet pouch. And for little hands, kids love these. And so talk about going from kind of like the spiritual to mainstream. We have one of our certified readers who's taught this deck to the Girl Scouts.
Wow.
So what she did is she had them all lay out cards, and they picked what they were resonating with, what colors, and she would talk about what those colors might mean, and they all built smoothies around it, and all the kids made smoothies according to what some of the food attributes were.
I'm getting one for her. She might just eat it up and tear it up at this point, but I'll save it until we can communicate.
You never know, right?
Yes. She's a little vegetarian almost anyway, so it just naturally. She doesn't really eat much meat. It's really just a lot of cucumbers and berries and things like that. She does like rice, but yeah.
People ask us all the time, why is it vegan? And we made it vegan, not because we're diehard activist vegans, nothing like that. It was more of that this is the cleanest road, no matter what diet you're on, paleo, keto, whatever it is, you need vegetables.
Good to see that. That's smart.
You need fruit. So we kept it where everyone can feel included, including making it vegan for the vegan community as well. In fact, in the very, very beginning, we had a honey card, and someone says, well, that doesn't make it 100% vegan. And that actually was our love card originally, tell Larry. But then we to strawberries, and now it's 100% vegan.
He's got a lot of love, but he does. He's a good man. So what other opportunities has being an intuitive or this Oracle deck brought to you?
The deck has been pretty profound. It's opened up doors on a global audience for us. We were so blessed. We had the #1 app company that hosts Oracle decks in the world.
Wow.
They're out of France, and they took on, and they have icons. I mean, there's just the icons in this industry are on their app, and we had not even had our deck completed, and they invited us to be on their app. And I think, I don't want to overextend, but I do believe that we're one of their top sellers.
Good. Oh my goodness, congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's on every app store, Amazon, Apple, iTunes, Google. They're all, and we get now people from all over the world who say, I saw your app, I love it, I now want the actual deck. We just sent one to Japan. We have a growing audience in Australia, and it is now made worldwide. We have people, South Africa have reached out to us, Europe, huge community growing for us in Canada. So it has opened up, you know, kind of, we're now on this track of getting a little notoriety around the deck. Our goal is to go to get a distributor who can get it into stores and yoga studios and spiritual gift shops worldwide. But it's put us on a new playing field. We're invited now to speak at renowned tarot conventions, and we hope to now move into mainstream and speak at regular food healing, nutrition presentations, where the food oracles can really talk about there's a consciousness in food, there's a vibration, there's a frequency, we're energy. And if we can empower ourselves to eat with energy, the right energy that our body's telling us today, you need blue, tomorrow you need red. Or if you are angry and you have too much heat coming, right? Too much fire, you need to cool that down. So what are some watery foods, right? What do we need to do to cool that down? So in our classes, particularly our certification, I talk about earth, air, fire, water, spirit, because we're nature. In fact, that album that I said went #1, that is my track. You listen to it on Spotify, called Nature. And I talk about we are earth, air, fire, water, spirit. Why are we not eating that way? So if someone's like balls out, totally angry, full of heat, we need to calm that down, or they're too much in their head, like they're overthinking, overanalyzing, mental health issues. We need to find a way for them to ground, like come into the earth. So what foods are going to do that, which is also related to your chakras. So we started connecting food, chakras, earth elements, color therapy into everything. And that's what we're kind of pushing through in the deck to educate people of, like, it's all connected. Super.
I think you're onto something.
Yeah.
No,
right.
It really is.
More than a deck, it's a movement.
It's, I tell you, as I'm listening to you, I'm like, yeah. Like, yeah, that's it.
Can we pull a card? Can I pull?
Yeah.
You want to pull a card?
Let's do it.
Well, no, you're the interviewer. Go ahead. What do you want to do?
We'll get to that towards the end. How about your beliefs and convictions as it translates to your business? What are they, and how do you communicate that to your customers?
Well, people who know me know I come straight from the heart. I'm super into transparency and really bringing forward something that makes a difference to move humanity forward in a positive way. Really, this business or anything, I'm a host of a radio show. I interview celebrity icons. Any of the content that I record as a spiritual recording artist, all of it is to awaken us to our greatest truth, our greatest level of awareness of who we are and why we're here, and allowing that shine within to come out, that radiance. And I do that through any of the things I do, particularly with this deck. If we can eat the radiance and we can be the radiance and we can learn to find that the answers are already inside, I think that's the most important lesson someone could learn. And how do you get that? Well, you do that by kind of moving kind of all these radiance BS away and start to tune into your own understanding, your own truth. And these cards help you do that profoundly.
No, it definitely does. It's funny because we live in a world now where everyone is so, I think because of social media, kind of like we're learning to be self-absorbed, or like this in our own little bubbles, if you will. And I think these types of ideas, like it kind of, if you're going to be introspective about something, you know, if you're going to be in your own bubble, like this is a really good way to sort of like look at yourself, see how you're eating, see like what I'm consuming and how that plays out, you know, in my health and my personality and my overall, you know, aura. You know, I think you're really onto something. You know,
thank you.
Yeah, I spend a lot of time in the kitchen, and I truly believe that and the power of food and what we're consuming. That people joke, oh, well, you are what you eat, but that is a lot more truth and depth to it than people truly realize. You know, you're a direct
Without a
representation of what
doubt,
you're putting in your body.
even the emotions. And
Yeah.
so, you know, people pray over their food. You know, you do this, there is an honoring of this frequency that came from the earth that's provided for you. There is something very ceremonial, whether you're religious or not. There is sort of that intention, and we can create that. The late Dr. Emoto, who is the pioneer that talk about there's a frequency in your water. If you put the word love on your water, you are actually, you know, changing the frequency of the water elements as you drink. If it's listening, you know, water or even plants or near classical music, heavy metal music. Sorry, Howard, he likes all sort of music, but the water picks those frequencies up and we're drinking it. So why wouldn't that be the same thing about our food? So some people pray over food. I worked in a, you know, very famous kitchen, and if there was an argument, it was outside. It was never over the food. It was like sacred food going into the body. And so this is very much taking, you asked me some of my beliefs, those are all part of this, is to really look at food intentionally. And that's really what drew us to do the smoothie book, which is this one. What happened is during those Kickstarters, and we were on our own, like, oh, how are we going to do this? We started, this is like, we got a few in before COVID hit and we had to stop, but we were doing smoothie parties. So we would go talk about the deck, show them cards. At that point, they were just on index cards, like taped together. It was silly, but that's how we started. And we would make a smoothie for that group. Like we would tune in and say, okay, today these people need apples, ginger, you know, we would just make these blends and explain to them why this smoothie was made for this group. And people loved it. And so we kind of came back full circles. Like we took the cards from the deck and made 33 recipes. They're super simple, but they help you learn more about things that you want from the deck. So essentially we have hot smoothies, cold smoothies, and there's just recipes on there, but we take the cards and we make the recipe. And then after you blend the recipe from, these are literally just from the Food Healing Oracle deck, we give you something to think about. So you're drinking in this intention, like an affirmation, and you can really actually feel it, letting go. This one's called, see, Healing Your Heart. I just picked it out. Maybe that's something for someone to understand. Like, well, maybe they're going through grief, or they're feeling sad, or they've been through a breakup, like the Healing Your Heart smoothie. And then we give a message. So you blend the smoothie in, and it's a little bit of all the things in our deck. So seems to be working.
You're literally drinking it in. I like it.
Drinking it in. Yeah.
Yes. That's going to be on a lot of people's holiday baskets this year. So thank you. I got two more questions for you, and I'm going to let you go off with your Friday today. Yeah?
Thank you.
Enjoy that 90-degree weather down there.
Okay.
So we do this for people who are either in our industry, who are in business by themselves, who are shop owners, store owners, solo entrepreneurs. Sometimes just let them know like what's going on with other business people. We get in our little zone, and sometimes we don't get to see outside of that. So this gives the people a way to see like maybe I'm not by myself. There's other people kind of going through some of the same things. So you as we've been talking, you're a very astute business person. If you had business advice for any of our viewers, like what business lessons or advice would you give them?
I'm going to just pull a random card from the deck. Okay. Then I will give you a reason, because I know it'll be accurate. So what business advice would I give to people?
I'm doing the same thing. I'm going to pull a card from the deck.
Yeah?
Yep. I always shuffle first.
I got blueberries for clarity. Right?
That's a good one.
Well, I actually, my motto is based on this, which is, these cards, they say you can't make this up. So you asked me what business advice and support. You got that again?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's the second time I pulled this today, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I've always maintained 3 pillars. I'll share them here. And the first one actually is having that clarity of vision, because without that, no one's going to feel your vibe. They're not going to understand unless you're clear inside yourself. And so you have to spend your time removing everything that, kind of chips away until you get to the core of what you're clear on, the why, what you're doing, how you're doing it. You may not know all the answers, but you need to have that clarity of vision in that direction. We didn't have that, other than we knew we were supposed to be doing this. And our clarity was trusting in the divine and the faith that this showed up for us to do, and we're going to follow it. And even when there were some dips and like, oh my God, how are we going to pay for this? Then this showed up. Then we got, every step we got clear that we were going to be in trust. And so everyone has to have that. And then the second for me is clarity, vision, and then definiteness of purpose. Really get clear on that purpose, as to why you're doing this. Who is it for? Who is your demographic? Who is your audience? You can't just be all things to everybody. If it's, I want to appeal to families with young children, or I want to deal with senior community, getting that purpose clear. And then the third one would be steadfastness of faith, and just holding in the clarity of the knowing of that your purpose is what you're meant to do, you and you alone, and have that faith that it's for you to do, and do it. And the answers and the people and the support will show up, right? So we're looking at butternut squash and blueberries. And that to me would be like a really, and so for something, then you move over and you intentionalize that. You surround yourself with the right people, you eat the right foods, you do the right meditations, you take the right notes, you do all those things. And that steadfastness of faith is really important. And if I was pulling plums right now, I would say patience is the next one.
Okay, so we got clarity of vision, definitive purpose, steadfastness of faith, and what was the last one?
Patience.
Patience.
Plums.
That is the truth. You will definitely need patience. Things do not always work out. And you don't
always know. Like, it's funny, I could say I would pull the next card, which would be durian, which would be allow that durian's our mystery card, that you're not meant to know everything. You're meant to know some of the steps. Everything will be revealed if we hold that steadfastness of faith.
That's right. You're absolutely right. Yeah. Well, you're great today. Thank you. I think you did fantastic. But this is the shameless plug portion of the program. So this is you promote yourself. Tell us about what you're promoting right now. Anything, any specials you may have, any promo codes, anything that you want our viewers to hear from you directly. What is it?
Sure. Thank you. Well, we've now in a year, actually July will be a year that I said earlier. We now have several classes that we teach. Our main offering is our certification class, and I highly recommend it. Whether you want a new career or you want to just take this on and learn more how to interact with your own family, the certification is pretty amazing. And I just had this offer going at $100 off. It's July 9th and 10th. It's a 2-day. You spend 16 hours with Joanna and I, and we go through everything you could possibly know and didn't know. We actually even help you with intuitive development, so you can be your own reader, understand these cards on a much deeper level. And that program, and you can go to foodhealingdeck.com, that includes a deck, and that also includes a journal. We have a journal now. And so we have a line of classes. We have the certification program. We have the big deck, the small deck, and just a whole lot of different accessories now that you can get. We've really grown our brand, and we're very excited about it. But you can see everything. There's commercials in our smoothie books, all that. But also use the word community. That'll give you a discount as well, 10%. Just type in community as a code, and that'll give you 10% off anything at our store as well. But the code for the $100, let's go ahead and use HCC 100. And that, if you do decide you want to take the certification, you can have $100 off there, or the community 10.
Okay. You heard it here, ladies and gentlemen. All right, we're giving away money.
We're giving away money, but we want this out there. We want people to see this food that's on your plate. You will make different decisions on what you put on your plate and what you feed your loved ones.
I will attest
That's
to
guaranteed.
this is one of the, especially like for parents, sometimes you want to teach your children about food and what they should be eating. This is one of the best, most educational and like fun gifts that you could give to you or your family. It's really a good time. It doesn't have to be as deep or as introspective as we may get into it, but you know, it's really, really a great gift. It's a great gift for yourself or anyone else. Foodhealing.com. You can email them at foodhealing or oracledeck@gmail. See, I'm plugging you too. I apologize. So don't
Good.
apologize.
Is it? Yeah, fine.
No, Lainie, thank you for joining us today. You're awesome. We always enjoy your energy. Awesome. All right, you speak so well. You know, you just have such a good energy about you, good flow. You're never kind of uptight. You're just kind of just like, yeah, you know, it's always a good day.
Oh, thank you.
You know,
woo,
that's so nice for us all. Well,
thank you. Thank you to everybody. And I look forward to the feedback. You know, if someone ends up getting the deck, we always love to hear what people, how it's made a difference. I mean, what your testimony to us really touched our hearts. Joanne and I were just so grateful. And we love.
Thank you. I'm very grateful.
Awesome CBD.
Thank you. And for all the viewers, if you have any comments from me or Lainie, please put them in the comment section. I'll make sure she gets them. Please forward this video to anyone that you think may get some benefit from it. Like, subscribe, share as always. And thank you so much for being a viewer. Have a great day. Have a great weekend. Lainie, thank you. Love you. You're the best. All right.
Thank you.